All right. Welcome to this week's This Week in Cars. I'm your host Justin Hong, and it's my co-host.
Jaron Wong.
So we'll just jump right in. Like this first topic, you're really following Jaron, the new Integra.
Yeah. Like this week we have a few car releases. But the most hotly anticipated one is the new Acura Integra. I almost called it a Honda Integra, which is I think that's the Japanese name. Like they released under Honda in Japan.
Yeah, and the old one too. So
yeah. I would say so. We saw teasers like maybe a month ago, and we knew it was going to be a 4-door coupe, like one of those soupy back, and we knew it was gonna have a manual. But I would say like the release was underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I guess it has a big name to live up to, and I think they're gonna be playing this super style. Like
yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see, like, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about a coupe version, which is what everyone wants. But I think we'll see at least a Type S, which is gonna be the Civic Type R engine and a manual.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that a lot more.
So I'm sure Honda's done their market research, but if they wanted to release like this legendary nameplate, why wouldn't they, at least tease like a coupe? Do you think that there's not a market for it?
I think there is, but maybe they're just like coupe versus this current style. Which one do you think will have more sales?
I mean, we've already seen a decline in sedan sales, like a huge decline.
Yeah.
And thank you, Honda, for not releasing an Integra crossover. I think everyone would just blow their brains out if that happened. Like, I mean, Ford did it. They did it with the Mach-E.
Yeah, and the Mach-E.
So, props to them for not doing that at least. But that's a very low bar to pass.
Yeah, very low.
But, like, I would say that cars, or specifically, like, coupes, we've seen enthusiast cars have good sales if it's something that the enthusiast wants. Like I think the Miata obviously has like good sales. Well, that's actually not. I was looking at a chart the other day, and the Miata's sales generation over generation has been like steadily declining.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, the ND is like the lowest selling Miata out of all the generations. But I think it's also the fact that the Miata got very expensive, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're looking at like 35,000 or more for like a loaded
Which should be kind of comparable to the Integra, right? I think they're aiming for a 30K base.
Right. I think it's 30K. So,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, the original Integra had the 4-door, but yeah, I think it just comes back to the question of why were we not teased a coupe, which is what everyone wants.
Maybe they don't want to cannibalize the current
their own
sales.
Yeah. This is the Supra, goes back to the Supra.
Yeah, the method. Supra. They don't want to announce if they'll have a manual.
That's true.
Which I think they will, but they just want to sell their autos first.
Yeah, because we've seen like the does the Z4 have the inline 6 in the Z4 doesn't have a manual? It doesn't have a manual.
I don't think so.
But we know like it's not hard to slap in a ZF transmission for that engine, like the B52 or B52, yeah. So the Supra's been out for 3 years now, 2 years. We still haven't seen a manual or heard anything about it. So if you're Honda, when would you think about releasing even a teaser for the coupe? It would be at least 2 model years.
Yeah, I think 2 model years. They'll start releasing a teaser, and then you might have it in 4.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very it's easy to like if as a Japanese manufacturer, like there's a whole resurgence of these JDM nameplates that are legendary, right? We have the NSX, which Honda kind of let us down on that one. Then followed by the Supra, the 86 GR86. Um, what else do we have that's like legendary JDM? Um, I think it's
I think that's it.
yeah. So then the Integra is like one more on this list, but yeah, it's I guess it's just fingers crossed. We'll see the coupe, but we have this. The signs right now just seems discouraging. You
Yeah, we'll see. What do you think about the styling?
I would say that um, it's so similar to the SI, the Civic SI. Like I think a lot of the complaints that I saw or like critiques were that it's basically a body kit on an SI. I don't think we've seen any interior photos yet.
No, just the exterior.
Yeah. The yellow is a callback to the legendary Type R or Integra Type R.
Yeah, Integra
Type R, right? The yellow was like a callback to that. So the color was nice, but it just looks weird on a sedan. It doesn't have that kind of like when I think Integra like sedan. I had a neighbor who had like a dark green one, and it was very boring looking because that's what the sedan Integra was. It's like a boring family car.
Yeah.
So to like conflate the two makes it like a paradox,
Yeah, and I think it looks very similar to the current Acura offerings. Like it's an unmistakably Acura from the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely looks like a TLX.
Right.
But I think it's just kind of missing that something special that really.
It has like a kind of a frumpy inverted back, the trunk.
Yeah, so I think because of the nameplate, it was so hyped out. When people saw it, they were like, "This is just like another Acura."
Yeah, I think like the price point is basically the ILX price point. They just changed the name.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's what people were saying. It's like a rebadged ILX,
yeah,
which is a rebadged SI.
basically. Yeah, so I think that's right now all we can do is just pray for a coupe. Pray for a coupe, and I mean otherwise it's a good car, decent drivetrain. We have a manual, and it just has too many doors. Yeah. I guess like what made the Type R really great was that it was tuned by like all the great Honda F1 engineers, right? And
Yeah.
now we're just looking at like I feel like this is like beating a dead horse, but we're looking at a shell of a former great company that's just releasing something as a cash grab.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so depressing. I think we should move on to the next topic.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one's for the enthusiasts, right?
Yeah.
The Ford Bronco Raptor.
Yeah, for a different kind of enthusiast, the ones who like off-roading and
Off-roading in
big tires.
Yeah.
With
an insane engine. Like, are you looking at?
Well, this one isn't gonna be that insane. It's probably gonna have. I think is it confirmed? It's gonna have the EcoBoost.
I think
that was in the Raptor. Yeah, that's
they'll use the
right
EcoBoost V6, right? A twin turbo, 330 horsepower.
That's one
that's
of the
the
current
current
engines. Yeah, I think the Raptor, the F-150 Raptor has like a 450 horsepower EcoBoost, which is plenty fast. But I have a feeling like people who are looking for who are into this Bronco Raptor, they probably want something with a V8, right?
Yeah, and so I know that like the F-150 Raptor, it used to have a V8 in it, and then the 2012 model year after that, they switched to the EcoBoost V6. and there's like a significant drop off in residual value for the ones that have the V6. Everyone wants the V8.
Yeah.
Right now, like, what offerings does Ford have with the V8? Like a
I mean,
Shelby.
there's a basic F-150 with a V8, I think.
Really?
Yeah, but it's nowhere.
It's not the performance.
It's not.
Version.
Yeah, it's a base.
Right.
Yeah, the EcoBoost is plenty fast, but like we have I think one of the main competitors for this would be that Jeep Wrangler Rubicon with the V8, and I mean you don't need a V8, right, for off-roading.
You don't. It makes it heavy. It makes it like, it's ridiculously gas consuming.
Yeah, and plenty of people are never gonna go off-roading in this.
But this
is the Jeep.
This is the niche, though, right? Like, people want the V8 because of bragging rights.
Exactly.
And I think whoever wants the V8 will pay the extra, and get the Wrangler.
Yeah, I think so.
But I guess it's also it's almost like a pick your favorite flavor, or like what team you are, and then whoever's team Ford is gonna get this one, just to compete with the Raptor or the Wrangler, which is, I think, for American cars, especially domestic manufacturers, there's a lot of like I am team, like what was it? Mopar or no car, bow tie till I die. Like, I once I knew this guy. He had a Hellcat, he had a Viper. His entire garage was just Dodge, everything Dodge. Like including like not just his cars, including all his walls were plastered with just Dodge stuff. So, I mean, in this case, Chrysler or FCA Stellantis is the one that has the superior offering. But if he was a diehard Ford guy and he wanted an off-road, ridiculously fast off-road car, he would pick this one, even if the Wrangler is objectively a better car.
Yeah, definitely people are in like their own camp here.
Yeah, this is tribalism at its finest.
Yeah, but I think this new like the Raptor's EcoBoost probably isn't gonna add too many people to Ford's camp.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool though. I actually got to see a real Raptor yesterday, like not the Bronco Sport, but like the I sat in the Bronco Sport there was an Uber driver who picked me up in a Bronco Sport.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was fine. She was like, "Yeah, I got this Bronco, so I can go over potholes," and it rode fine, but it's not a real off-roading vehicle, right? Like there's a big separation between the two, and this one is going to be the real Bronco with a good engine, like not a V8, but it's gonna be more powerful than I think like there was complaints about the normal, like the off-road Bronco, that the engine was kind of anemic.
Yeah, it's just good enough. Mm-hmm. And for people who just drive these on the street, it could be faster.
Right. Yeah. So when I first saw this, I was like, this is just another unnecessary car, but I could see this is more practical off-road than the Wrangler.
Yeah, if you can call a Raptor anything practical, then I suppose.
I mean, I guess the engine is one thing to like one factor for off-roading capability. The other thing is like suspension. And for this one, there's going to be I think the Fox live wire twin tube bypass dampers. So that's probably like a higher ride height. Yeah, just like better capability off road. But
so it's got some upgrades.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it looks cool. I mean, yeah. So does the normal Bronco, but this one's even.
Yeah, don't underestimate the coolness factor.
Yeah.
Cool. I think
can move on to
let's jump to the next one. Oh yeah, this one's a lot less interesting.
But this is important though, because Mazda needs its moneymakers to continue developing the Miata. And
That's right.
I think I've talked with someone on the internet about this. Basically, well, I think what was this? It was probably Savage Geese who was saying that the Miata as a dedicated platform is expensive, so you need these normal people cars to keep on funding the Miata. So basically, Mazda is going to release a CX-50, which is another mid-size SUV, on the same platform as the Mazda 3 and the CX-30.
Yeah, it's gonna debut tomorrow, I think. So
Yeah, all we have right now is a photo of like a a photo of the car driving in the woods. So the CX-30, it's basically like a Mazda 3 on stilts. Like it's a little higher. It has ugly plastic cladding. So what are we gonna expect from the CX-50?
honestly, I'm just confused by Mazda's lineup at this point. All the numbers and all these crossovers. I can't wrap my head around this, but I think it's this new CX-50 is going to be more like a active lifestyle car,
Hmm.
which
So it's gonna have plastic cladding, a lot
yeah,
more
a
plastic.
lot more plastic cladding.
So
And
I think so that makes like the CX-5 the premium offering because we know Mazda's been trying to move up market with their products.
I thought the ones that end with zero are premium.
The well right now there's only the CX-30, right, which is the plastic cladded one.
Is that but that's supposed to be like a premium Mazda 3, right?
It's taller. I don't know if it's more premium though. I think the Mazda 3 is already very premium as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, like the CX-30 is. I don't think it's a good looking car. It's kind of like the plastic cladding just kills it for me, you know.
Yeah. Mazda 3 is it's a decent looking car.
Yeah,
630,
the
yeah,
Mazda the
not so
Mazda
much.
3, especially like I know the hatchback was pretty controversial, but I liked it. It was different, you know. Like not doesn't look like all the other hatchbacks, and it has a pretty sleek look to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember when they like redesigned this. I think back in 2014. So
Well,
when I was still in high school, it was
I think
I
this
really
one
looked
was
into it. Yeah,
2020. Yeah.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that the CX-50 is gonna be, um, it's gonna follow the new trend of coupe SUVs. Like it's gonna have the same size wheelbase as the CX-5, but then it's gonna have like a slanted rear roof, which makes it less practical. Makes there's less headroom, there's less space,
Yeah.
but it looks better, you know.
Does it?
Um, I don't know. Like, this is like the whole like coupe SUVs pioneered by BMW's X6, and then Mercedes followed on with their GLE coupe and the GLC coupe. You know,
Yeah.
like I get it, I guess, in that like everyone wants the higher riding car, and then but the crossover is very boring. So this is for people who don't care about the practicality of an SUV, but they want the ride height of an SUV.
That's fair.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a trendy thing, and like I think Japanese automakers are like kind of late to be on the trend. I know Infiniti has their, I think it's like a QX30 or something. QX, I think it's QX50, which is their SUV coupe thing, and I argue that it doesn't look too bad. QX55, that's the coupe thing. You know, it looks like an X6 with an Infinity logo on it.
I don't like this trend.
Right. But it's what's selling. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's a cash grab for sure.
yeah. And because of all the unified architectures, it's not hard to make it. Like all you need is different sheet metal,
Yeah.
just slant the roof, and then you have who the hell's buying these cars though?
I'm not in their target market. I don't know.
Millennials? I think it's most of the people I've seen who've bought these cars are actually older people who probably don't have kids. Who don't like, maybe they have like, I guess you could put a dog in this.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it's people who want the higher ride height but don't care about the practicality, which just defeats the purpose. But
Yeah, but I guess if it doesn't take much effort, you just make a different model.
right, because at
So-
least the CX-30 is or CX-50 is going to be built on the same architecture as the Mazda 3. So yeah, I don't think it's going to take Mazda a lot of resources to make a whole new model like this. It's just I wouldn't be the one buying this.
No.
But I hope it sells well, just so they can continue developing the Miata.
Yep. I think that's it for like new car releases this week.
Yeah.
Right?
This week was basically dominated by the Integra, and then
Yeah.
that was pretty much all the news I heard.
So we have some like other news apart from new car releases.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing is we have 6 major automakers that say they're going to end gas car sales by 2040.
Mm-hmm.
And actually 2035 in some markets, like their main markets, I think. So
Yeah, and those manufacturers are Ford, GM, Mercedes, Volvo, JLR, and BYD, which isn't American, so it doesn't really affect us. But that also includes like fleet operators. So Uber is one of the companies that have said that they're also going to move away from gas cars.
Yeah, and we have like 30 national governments too.
Mm-hmm. So regardless of whether the manufacturer is going to move away, the governments are gonna, they're gonna stop the sales of gas cars in those countries.
Yeah. Although I think like 2040 is pretty far away. So it's 2035.
Is that the California ban or is that the Washington ban?
Well, no, for this one we have 2040,
Uh-huh.
where they said they're gonna move away, and then starting some places in 2035. I feel like it's so far away that they could totally change their mind somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
So
the
I don't
thought
know, like,
had.
what's the actual significance here? Like, is it just
I think it's important to like as a company you have to virtue signal and say, hey, we're getting rid of gas cars because we want to make the world a better place, but at the same time, like we have a lot of other, like the Paris Climate Accord is a big climate change like initiative, and I'm pretty sure most countries have like failed to meet their pledge goal, or are not even on track to meet their pledge goal. So this is just all like lip service, and
yeah, I think so.
Even if they don't change their mind,
it's just another pledge,
right?
Yeah, and it's like not legally binding or anything. So
yeah, but it's like I think that's the way the industry's moving, and Tesla was kind of the first one to kind of push the entire industry towards electric, and it's just sad but necessary. Unless we're able to find, well, the two alternatives are hydrogen and synthetic fuels.
yeah,
but to have a synthetic fuel, it requires the fuel to also burn as cleanly as like basically have like very little emissions.
yeah, I think synthetic fuels are going to be a very niche thing.
Really?
I think it's going to be a lot more expensive than gas today, which is already
I think
pretty expensive.
It's expensive to make right now, but the goal for synthetic fuel is to make it, to be able to create it and at scale where it's effectively affordable for daily use.
Even so, I think EVs are going to make a lot more sense for
most people.
For most people,
Yeah.
probably in like 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll cover most use cases, but there's always going to be those people who want the V8s,
Yeah.
and then the synthetic fuels are going to be for them, I think.
So I think my concern is when we see gas cars get phased out in 2040, what is going to happen to the existing gas infrastructure? Because like even if you stop sales in 2040, you're still going to have a lot of gas cars around, right?
Yeah.
So would it be within our lifetime where we can't even drive a gas car like normally?
I hope not. I think it's just going to be more expensive.
So it's going to be even more expensive than it is now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the way it's going.
Yeah.
But, demand might drop by then, so who knows?
For gas cars or electric
Yeah,
cars?
for gas, because more people drive EVs then, even if they're not.
So I think that's also like that's dangerous though, because if demand drops off, you're gonna have like OPEC and the other oil producing countries cut production. So while demand falls, supply also falls, and then it's just gonna either remain the same or just be more expensive.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll definitely have gas cars by 2040. So
you'll still have gas cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Probably me too.
So yeah.
What's the next? The next bit of news is the Rivian IPO, which is just like it was bonkers. It was 3 days of straight gains and the value of the company at what, like $80 billion or something.
I just know it's more than Ford.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy because does Rivian have any sales right now besides the Amazon order?
I would say like a good amount of people pre-ordered the Rivian R1T and then the R1S, which is the SUV version. I think in my opinion, it's overpriced, overvalued.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right, but the I was talking to a friend who was more into stocks, and he was saying that because there's backing from like such prominent like people like Bezos, it's like it would be dangerous to even short this stock because the valuation is like probably just gonna go up from here for a company that like has doesn't have any cars on the road,
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't short it, but it's definitely overvalued.
Yeah, like because
they have over 100 billion market cap right
now. Right, and that's crazy considering Ford is what, 70 billion.
Yeah, less than 100.
Right. GM's at 86 billion, Ford's at 77 billion, and Lucid is at 66 billion, which is Lucid.
I think they've started making deliveries.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this.
At least they've delivered cars.
Yeah.
The difference is though, actually, I don't know if I can say this, because I have a friend who works at Rivian, and I don't think I can say this. I don't know if it's under NDA, so we're gonna have to cut that out. So Rivian, like, it's filling a market that there's a lot of high hopes for. So like there's two parts to Rivian. One is like their consumer vehicles, the R1S, R1T, and then there's the delivery vans. So the delivery vans, we've seen like Amazon buy like literally like how many trucks from Dodge and Mercedes, like
those in the tens of thousands,
right? And those purchases like really helped really helped those two companies during the pandemic, because that's a lot of orders. So when you switch to the electric fleet, which is what Amazon wants to do, right? Like that will save a lot of running costs for Amazon. It's going to be more reliable. There's not going to be any gas costs, and I think Amazon, like I feel like USPS has their own. There's a electric USPS truck debacle where the company that won the contract is suing USPS or something, or the company that didn't get the contract is suing USPS because they played some favoritism or some sort of politics. But the commercial electric van market is, I would say it's big, but Ford also has like enterprise vehicles like that. So and Ford has a proven like their cars are on the road. So I just think it's for the consumer side. There's the R1S, R1T, and that's like it's very adventure based. Like it's supposed to be like the outdoor trucks, but like how big of a market is that? Like to begin with.
I mean, you have you mean like pickup trucks or just off-roaders in general?
Like I think the Rivian trucks are very like outdoor oriented trucks. Like they're not advertised to do work.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the cash cow is for Ford. Because like the F-150 is well known to be the best selling car in the US, right? And that's where all the money comes from. So what like Rivian's trying to market to, like people say the electric truck market has no big players besides Rivian. Sure. But how many people are going to be, buying these cars, or rather no one from this market of like Ford trucks is going to be buying these Rivians. So, how many sales are they really expecting for this pretty niche market?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I don't think they can even ramp up to Ford's production levels, even if they wanted to. So maybe they're okay with starting small and until they become like the name for electric trucks, and then hopefully they'll have more production capacity as well.
Yeah, I think so. Their consumer side is very like lifestyle oriented. So I guess there's a potential, or rather, there's like they could move into this work truck market, which is where the juicy bits are, right? With their delivery van, and then just like cut the back half or something. So I think that's probably where a lot of the Rivian potential is.
Yeah.
So does this make Rivian overvalued, or does this make other companies undervalued?
I think a bit of both.
Both.
Yeah.
So buy GM and buy Ford. This is not financial advice, but this is our analysis. Yeah, they plan to build 1 million cars by the end of this decade, which is 9 years from now.
I think that's possible.
Yeah. Because Ford makes 500,000 cars, or rather, they sell 500,000 F-150s a year.
Yeah.
So, but how many factories do they even have? There's one factory here.
Rivian?
Yeah.
I think they just have one.
Yeah, the one factory.
Yeah. So I think they're opening a second one in a process, and they'll probably start expanding like Tesla.
So what's coming in the pipeline for next week?
Haven't heard any upcoming car releases. Except we'll see the Mazda CX-50 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm not that looking forward to it.
Yeah, no one's waking up early to be like, well, what does that car look like?
You never know. Someone's setting their alarm clock for that.
Wow, whoever that person is, I applaud you for being a. Are you a Mazda fan or a crossover fan?
You gotta be both.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but I haven't heard any rumors coming down the pipeline. So I guess we'll stay tuned, and then follow us on, subscribe to our YouTube channel, This Week in Cars, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.